Test number one, test number one. This is a testing of the commute. And this is the only music I could find on my hard drives that I've moved with me into the new digs, as it were. A little bit of Mozart. The Marriage of Figaro. I'm sure you all knew that. I'm sure you knew that it was The Marriage of Figaro. Something nice to wake up to. I think it's Tuesday morning. My days are all sort of skewed at the moment. I don't know if it's funny or not to have this playing. Anyway. It's the commute. Testing again. Trying my best to get the flow, to get the feel that I want for this show. And I think a little bit of Mozart is the way to go. I don't mind this little bit of classical underneath as I'm talking. We'll see. Obviously, you'd have to pay, or I'd have to pay rights and stuff for the use of intellectual property like music. So we'll see how that goes. It's probably going to go away very quickly. Anyway, so what's going on in the world? Quick bit of news. According to the Herald Sun, there's call for an Invasion Day activist to be sacked. If you're anywhere else in the world other than here in Australia, Invasion Day is a term used to describe Australia Day. Australia Day being our supposed day of, celebration for, wonder if this makes any difference. If I do that. Oh, it does actually. It really does. Ooh. I've got a sexy voice now. Although, there's a bit of echo there, because that's it is a, a singing effect that I've added there. So ready? Test. 1, 2. Sorry. What kind of shit is this? I wonder if I could actually do this on a regular basis and do silly things like this with little effects and stuff. I don't know. So I'm gonna throw that one on there too. That's I like that. That's good. Although you can hear me touching my leg. Oh, only when I'm talking though. See, when I'm talking, the gate cuts out. Oh, okay. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. How about that? Just that one. I think that works. That's good. Boom, 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 boom. I'll play with that over time. And I shouldn't be playing with effects and stuff whilst I'm trying to talk to a potential audience. Anyway. Invasion Day is a term used to describe our day of celebration, our Australia Day, because it was the date that's been chosen as our day to celebrate is also the date of which the First Fleet, I believe, landed here in Australia, which, if you're part of the native population, is the day on which the genocide of your people started, effectively. There's one of my favourite movies is actually Apocalypto by Mel Gibson, I think. I think Mel Gibson was the director and producer of all that kind of Apocalypto. I have the internet in front of me. I should give it a shot. And I just saw Apocalypto 2. That's not a good idea. This is not a movie that needs or can do with a sequel. Why are they thinking? Directed and produced by Mel Gibson. And regardless of all his other stuff, because so much great tangent work here, Gavin. So, Mel Gibson, he did some fucked up things. He was a bit racist, a lot racist. He was very derogatory and very mentally abusive to the woman that he was, I think, either married to or something like that. He was a scumbag. There's no doubt. But the things that he did, for me personally, I actually can look past a little bit. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but I can actually look past some of the shit that he did, because the shit that he did, it was bad, but it wasn't irreparable. Irreparable? It could be and can be fixed. For instance, here's another controversial thing, and I'll get back to Apocalypto and Australia Day and Invasion Day. Chris Brown, in my opinion, he hasn't, but he could have fixed what he did to Rihanna. He could, to me, and one of the reasons I say that is because Rihanna did an interview, I think, with Oprah or somebody, and there was a bit where she talked about how Chris Brown had issues and had problems that he needed to work on, and she showed a lot of compassion for him, which I think is an amazing thing to be able to do in that circumstance. I don't think she should have showed him as much as she did, but he could have fixed it, in my opinion. Volunteering to help people, anything, whether it be women's shelters or anything, taking anger management classes, reading into it, being very proactive in fixing and showing his change. Whereas I haven't seen any of that. And when you're in the celebrity, the public eye, being a celebrity, I think you kind of need to do that. As much as I completely understand why, when these things happen to people, or when they cause these things and they do it to themselves, because that's what Chris Brown did. But when these things happen, I can understand why they run away from the media spotlight. I understand that, but that's not, you can't do that. You've got to prove that you're worthy of us not stoning you, pretty much. That's my opinion anyway. I think if you fuck up by beating somebody, or in the case of some, well, for instance, Harvey Weinstein, in my opinion, is not redeemable. You can't redeem what he did. He should be stoned. He should have his dick cut off, and all his money should be taken from him, all that kind of stuff. But there are certain things that I think if you put the right effort in, and you show that you're repenting and you're regretful and you want to change it, that you can fix it. But anyway, let's get back to something a little bit less thing. So Mel Gibson filmed what I believe is a brilliant movie called Apocalypto. It's set here, according to Wikipedia, it says it's set in pre-Columbian Yucatan and Guatemala. I don't know why I'm putting accents on that, because I'm probably not even picking the right accent for the right area. Around the year 1511. So, Apocalypto depicts the journey of Jaguar Paw, a Mesoamerican hunter and his fellow tribesmen captured by an invading force after the destruction of their village, who must escape human sacrifice at a time when the Mayan civilization is about to come to an end. So, the reason I referenced Apocalypto is at the very end of Apocalypto, and this isn't spoiling anything, but and it's also a pretty old movie now. At the end of Apocalypto, there's this wonderful part where two characters push through a little, not even a clearing, but into a small viewpoint over a, what's it called? A bay. And out in the bay, they see a ship. And to them, they've got no idea what this ship is. And then they see some humans with pale skin and helmets, and they were conquistadors. They were Spanish. And if you know anything about human history of the world, you know that the Spanish went into South America. Hold on 1 second. Doctor, no barking, please. The Spanish went into South America and fucked things up. They did all the same things that the English did here in Australia and over in America. And so it's this powerful image of this ship. And that made me think about, or that Invasion Day made me think of that, because it's has often been depicted in art the way the Aboriginal people would have been sitting on the beach. They would have been doing whatever they were doing. They would have been preparing food. They would have been getting ready for whatever, like looking after children, all the stuff that you have to do in life. They would have been doing it. Their version of it, of course. And all of a sudden this ship would appear on the thing, and other people would have come in and said, oh, yeah, this is, the Queen owns this now. This is the Queen's. And unfortunately, in a way, I think unfortunately for the Aboriginal people of Australia in particular, they didn't have the warrior mentality, maybe, to say, fuck off, and just kill them. Because imagine if you'd been an Australian Aboriginal, and even though the Australian Aboriginals were known to have intertribal conflicts and stuff, but they were not as much of a warrior tribe or a warrior species of people, because we are all, remember, race is a type of species in a way. I wasn't trying to be rude there, but they didn't have, like, you hear of Native Americans and you hear the warrior tribes, and I think to myself, I wonder if Australian Aboriginals had been more warrior-like and been more aggressive in a way, would they have gone, no, we don't want your folk here, bang, get rid of them? Because we had spears and boomerangs, or they had spears and boomerangs, they could have very easily killed them. So, Invasion Day, that is a day, or a reference to the fact that January 26th, the day that we supposedly celebrate this wonderful country, it is also a day where you should think about what could happen if you were living isolated nicely by yourself with your people and everything, and then all of a sudden in come these tall ships with these white folk, and they want to say that this is their land now and that it's up to them. I don't really feel either way about Australia Day. Australia Day to me is more about Australia Day to me is about nothing. I don't understand patriotism in that way. I don't see how wearing a Aussie flag bikini or putting little stickers on your thing makes you. To me, it's the same thing as Valentine's Day or birthdays or any of that kind of crap. Why are you all of a sudden choosing one day with which you're going to show how you feel? If you genuinely love this country, why not just do stuff every day that shows that you love this country? If you're really proud of Australia or whatever country you live in, if you live in America or Guatemala or Spain, wherever, if you're really proud of that place, show it every day, for instance, by picking up a piece of trash or getting involved in local politics, all that kind of stuff. That's where I sit. Not that anyone asked. This is not a opinion that anyone actually wanted. Now, I went to click on an article here, but apparently I need to be a member of the Herald Sun website. I don't know why I'm looking at the Herald Sun website though. If you're an international listener, which let's face it is unlikely, but if you're an international listener, the Herald Sun's a trashy trashy news source. You can imagine the Herald Sun having a page 3 girl and things like that. So I'm here in Australia, so it means, and it's almost February. It's January 30th. It's almost February, which means that it's almost footy season because we only take a couple of days off in order to not talk about footy. And if this website was working a bit better, that's even worse. So I was about to click on an article here on the Herald Scum website. That's a phrase that people use. And it was all about women's footy because last year there was instead of having a men's pre-season, they had a women's season of footy, which was only a bunch of weeks because it was small teams and all that kind of stuff. And by all reports, it was a big success. I'm very pro. If women want to play footy and people want to go watch women play footy, then it's a viable business and go for it. But there was what I assumed to be an article here, a bunch of other things. And the headline, it was a picture of the Adelaide Crows women's team. And it said, "They are women, hear them roar." And it has a women in blue, which I assume is a reference that it's a women's article. And then it said, if 2017 was a breakthrough year for Australian women in sport, then 2018 will see it rise to another level. And I thought, ooh, this could be a good article. What's going on here? And then I saw sponsored content at the bottom. Now, what does that say about the world? The next thing is some golf guy. The one on the very far right is a sports guy on a reality TV show, a tennis player, Bernard Tomic. And then the other one is what I believe to be a morning TV host is he engaged to his partner? Oh, fuck's sake. This is why I don't like the Herald Sun. Look at this shit. What kind of news articles is this? Yeah. What are you going to do in this world, really? This is ridiculous. This is why the Herald Sun is regarded as such bullshit. Look at this. Groom blindsided by secret child. But it's on reality TV. So, and it's on the TV show called Married at First Sight. Now, let's get a little bit... I feel like I shouldn't... This is meant... The commute's meant to be a fun, freewheeling type thing. It's not meant to be me getting on a soapbox. But we just recently here in Australia had the marriage equality vote where we all voted to say whether people should be allowed to marry other people of the same gender. And in this world where gender is becoming, and I feel like we need a new word. There's biological gender, and then there's human society concept gender. For instance, if you're born with a penis and male reproductive organs, then you are physically male. If you have long hair, society implies that you might be female. You know what I'm talking about? Does that make it? Is that obvious? There is. I think in the gender discussion we're not being specific enough about what we're talking about. Wearing a skirt does not make your reproductive organs different. curves in the classic hourglass Marilyn Monroe thing does not change your physical reproductive abilities. For instance, Buck Angel, I'm not even sure exactly what he's going by at the moment, but born a female, for his entire life, didn't feel right, wanted to be male, is now a very manly man. You look at him and you go, that's a manly man. So manly that you can just, you know what he smells like. Does that make sense? You know when you see people and you go, you know what? I reckon if I was really close to that person, I know what they would smell like. Because they just smell and I'm talking about perfumes and deodorants here. Because that's the societal version of masculinity and femininity. I just imagine that Buck Angel would smell very manly in his choice of perfumes and deodorants and aftershaves and colognes and whatever else you want to use. Anyway, but Buck Angel still doesn't have a penis. Hasn't decided, and I say still like that as though it has to happen. It doesn't have to happen. Buck Angel chooses to still have a vagina in the same way that any other person has a vagina. But anyway, Buck Angel has the reproductive, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong on this again, but has the female reproductive organs, as far as I'm aware still. So physically, biologically, would be categorized as a woman. But in our society, that doesn't matter as much anymore. We're not just living in a world where we focus everything on, can you reproduce? It's gone past that. It doesn't matter anymore. So Buck Angel is a man because Buck Angel chooses to live as a man. Has a sweet handlebar moustache, has a bunch of tattoos, some big muscles. Then you look at someone like, I can't remember her full name. Bloody hell, that's going to annoy me. Janelle, somebody, who is a bodybuilder and is massive. Absolutely huge. She is tanked, yoked, ripped, whatever you want to call it. But likes to do her hair, wear makeup, and be feminine. In this day and age, it doesn't matter shit what someone wants to look like, be like, act like, as long as they're not doing anything to harm anyone else. And so, to me, that's the difference. And I don't have a bloody clue how I got onto this. How did I do it? I need somebody here to help me out here. Nope, lost it. Completely lost how I got onto that subject of the difference between biological gender and gender that we all see and interact with. That's the part that just doesn't bother me. I don't give a shit if someone wants to be male or female. If I accidentally call you by the wrong gender pronoun, point it out to me and I will correct. If I do it repeatedly, then I'm a dick. But if I make a mistake one time, it's not a problem. I remember once I was working in the fast food areas of a sporting stadium here in Australia. It was called Colonial Stadium at the time. And I had my head down. I saw the food that they were ordering. I was like, great, it's this much. Thanks for the money. And then I said, thank you very much, sir. And I looked up and it was a woman. Now, she was wearing a big overcoat. So my peripheral vision saw just a shape. And I thought, this is a big, bulky shape. And I went with my gender stereotypes of big, bulky means male. And I said, sir. Now, I don't think this woman was incredibly offended or anything like that. And I said sorry. And I think we parted on acceptable terms, if that's the right wording. And no more was said about it. It didn't matter. But if I had repeatedly when if she'd said, "Oh no, sorry, I'm not a guy," and I'd said, "Oh, sorry, sir. Would sir like some more food, sir?" If I'd kept doing that, then there would have been a problem. To me, anyway, that's where I stand on these things. If someone wants to be a woman, let them be a woman or a man. But let's not ignore the fact that Caitlyn Jenner, when she was Bruce Jenner, still caused a car accident that killed someone. Still one of my favourite Ricky Gervais jokes that Caitlyn Jenner's done a lot of great things for women, but not women drivers. I still think that's a fucking funny joke, that one. Or the fact that Caitlyn Jenner, after a year, got Woman of the Year, or Sportswoman of the Year. That seems a bit... Because even if you were giving it to her for Bruce Jenner's sporting achievements, Bruce Jenner hadn't done anything for a heap of time. Bruce Jenner, the athlete, was not an athlete anymore. Also, it was the decathlon. Why is... who... Does anyone follow the decathlon? Jeez. They should incorporate the decathlon into CrossFit, in my opinion. I'm just rambling. I'm going to have some segments and stuff. But anyway. So, I've gone to a different website and I'm just going to click on some bullshit water cooler type stuff. Bernard Tomic, Time in the Jungle looks to have run its course already. So there is an absolutely terrible TV show that I believe started in the UK called I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. And it's a reality TV show where they just put a bunch of celebrities through shit until, or B-grade celebrities through shit until they say, I want to leave. And their way of saying leave is, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. As though I'm a celebrity, I'm too good, get me out of here, which is making a joke, blah, blah, blah. No offense, but if you watch this, you are either dumb or you're using it to dumb yourself down at the end of a day, which I've got no problem with. We all have to have time where our brains break down the world that we live in, and we have a bit of rest time, and we need that dumb time, staring into space, whatever. But this show is terrible. And because it's running weird and it's making my computer run a bit slow, I'm not even going to read the article. How's that for dumb? Because I'm like a lot of other people, and I do that where I don't read the article. So, apparently on that show, he has decided, or they're reporting on it like it's news, the fact that a person on a reality TV show wants to leave. That seems so ridiculous to me. Anyway, that's the end of the commute for January the 30th, Tuesday. Bring back Mozart. Would Mozart have gone on a reality TV show, do you reckon? Why don't we have any more composers on reality TV show? Composers aren't really a big thing anymore, are they? I guess they're songwriters now. Anyway. That was the commute. No one will listen to this. No one will ever hear this. This is purely for me to practice and get used to stuff and try to get better. So if you ever find this anywhere and listen to it, thank you very much. It's now 7:53 a.m. So I've done this from about 7:30 to about 8:30 or about 8 o'clock. And as I said, it is Tuesday the 30th of January as a reference point for anyone who cares. Thank you very much for listening if you have listened, and I will see you in the future. Sorry, wait, hold on. Dun, dun, dun. I'll get there eventually. No, this is... I'm doing too much now for the joke. Okay, I'll try it again. I will see you in the future.